Let me start by saying I am sorry for the shit quality of the footage in this review. It was filmed with a digital camera sitting in front of my television, so that's why the video isn't exactly square on the screen. I would have gotten a capture card, except I wasn't willing to spend another $200 for the sake of one review. So, moving right along. Tom Clancy's EndWar is a real-time strategy game, pretty much built for consoles. It will be on the PC, but it is not out yet, so obviously I'm reviewing this on the Xbox 360. Now, the big thing about this game is voice command. Now, I'll get to that a little bit later. I'll just first establish, the setting and stuff. So the game is set in 2020. It's pretty much just World War III, basically. The story is that there's a couple of, there's a huge lead up to it, basically. It gives you a little bit of background, what happened, there's a nuclear exchange between Saudi Arabia and another country, and it escalates from there. The US puts up a missile shield, which eliminates nuclear war. They bind with Europe, Europe unifies, then there's some terrorist attacks and shit hits the fan. Now, for the most part, the story is good. The problem with it is, though, that it's left at that. As soon as you finish the prelude to war, which is the main part of the single-player campaign, or not necessarily the main part, but the actual story part in any case, as soon as you finish that, it pretty much just throws you a globe and says, here, win the war for your faction. Which works, but it's a shame because there was so much potential for a story here. And it's quite a shame because all of Tom Clancy games are always really renowned for their story. Now, other than that, the game looks great, apart from a few, bit disappointing visuals. Some of the explosions and fire effects don't look that good, but all the unit details are very, very good. The environments are excellent. Infantry especially are very well modelled. You can see all the individual animations and stuff like that. Sound is also excellent in this game, not just the sound of battle, which is frantic and fast. Machine gun fire and cannons and explosions sound really, really good. It's not that, it's the sound of the orders and stuff from other units, and everyone talks to you. I mean, you give out your orders through voice, but all of your units give you feedbacks, whoever it is, they'll say, oh, we're under fire, and then your comms officer will say, they've been killed, and stuff like that. It's just great audio. Now, the main meat in EndWar is the theatre of war, which is the massive online multiplayer. If you've ever played Chrome Hounds, which was a sort of MechWarrior style game, this will seem similar to you. It is similar, but it's vastly improved over what Chrome Hounds had. Basically, you go into the theatre of war, you pick a side, so that would be JSF, which are the Americans, the European Federation, which are obviously the Western Europeans, and then there's the Russians, which would be Spetsnaz. You pick a side, then you pick a battalion. Now, every battalion has its own perks, and some will give you access to more units of a particular type than others, and others are balanced. For the purpose of this review, I just was the JSF and picked the 8 Assault Battalion, which gave me access to an even number of units across the board, but not very much in the way of assistance with them. Now, what you're seeing right now is the barracks. Now, in every mission you do, you'll earn money. So win or lose, you earn money. Obviously, you earn more for a win. You can spend this money in the barracks on your units. So you can buy upgrades for them in terms of weapons and armor, or you can buy speed upgrades or special abilities. Now, special abilities range differently for every side. However, they do amount to about the same thing in terms of more damage or a special attack, basically. In terms of mission types, there are 4 main types. There's Conquest, which is just capture the uplinks. The majority of the uplinks held wins for whichever side. There is Assault, which is just pretty much kill the other guy before he kills all your stuff. There is also Siege, which is one side defends a major uplink and the other attacks, obviously, and has to capture it. And then there's Raid, which is when you have limited amount of units and you can't deploy some particular things like artillery, and you have to destroy over half of the key buildings within a time limit to win. Or if you're on the other team, obviously you defend. Now, the gameplay in EndWar is absolutely fantastic. The voice commands work really, really well. I've only had a few hiccups, I'll get to them a little bit later. but for the most part the game works really well. The camera is always right in the action. You can only see what your units see, so at the moment I'm focusing on Unit 3, which is a transport group. And then you can go out to sitrep, which is this overhead godlike view that you'd see in most strategy games. However, it provides a lot less detail, just gives you the raw data. But this can only be accessed if you have a command vehicle. Command vehicles, at a first glance, they don't appear to be very useful other than giving you this ability. But I'll tell anyone out there who will listen, command vehicles are an excellent offensive weapon, because they are a bitch to take out. So you can pretty much drive them right into their lines, they'll cause a shitload of damage, and you'll send up something behind them to finish the other guys off. Other than that, though, the gameplay in EndWar is excellent. It's fast-paced, and I love it. It's the first fast-paced strategy game I've liked. Now, for the most part, the voice command system in EndWar works really well. They've done an excellent job of getting it to recognize voices in all accents and all languages. There are a few small hiccups. For example, it would often confuse when I would say Unit 4 with one of the abilities called Force Recon. At the most time it would say, obviously can't do that because I didn't have Force Recon. Also, for some reason, whenever well, not whenever, but most of the time when I tried to say Unit 12, it would select Unit 4. This was a bit annoying because Unit 4 was usually an infantry unit that I would use to capture uplinks. But you can look past that because it's an excellent system. I can't stress it enough. And it works really well. It's really fluent. Basically what you think is you can say, and it will usually translate into coherent orders that they will follow. If they can't be followed, it'll tell you so, and it won't tell you so over the TV where the din of battle is coming through. It will tell you through the headset you've got. Now, apart from that, there have been some slight issues, mainly to do with a little bit of texture popping here and there. It wasn't really noticeable. I only ever noticed it once. And there are some glitches in the game. For one of these is when you order in a new unit, sometimes it will replace, instead of taking up the empty slot which it would usually fill, it will sometimes replace Unit 1. In most cases this was my command vehicle, and this was quite annoying because, you can still access the sitrep, but I would use my command vehicle offensively, so I would often order it to go somewhere, then order in some new units and find I couldn't actually command my command vehicle anymore, and it would get killed quite quickly. In conclusion, though, EndWar is a fantastic game. If you're a fan of strategy, but quick, fast-paced strategy, this is an excellent game for you. And even if you're a newcomer to strategy, it's great, because despite being overly simple, the game relies very, very heavily on rock, paper, scissors. But despite that, it's still incredibly complex. You can play the game in a very simple manner, order units to go here, secure this, blah blah blah. Or you can deeply strategize what you want, order groups of units to flank around here, get another group to go the other way, and stuff like that. It's very, very deep, and when the shit is hitting the fan, artillery's flying through the air, choppers are strafing tanks, infantry's running through cover, getting shot up, transports are just mowing down everything. It's just a ridiculously good game. I give this a 9 out of 10, not a 10 because it's not quite there, but damn, it's good.